Hello there and welcome back to another edition of the Hot Lap Classic Remastered. This time we'll take a look at the 1996 Toyota MR Spider. Perhaps one of the strangest of all the MR2 variants. Of course you know the Toyota MR2, the legendary mid-engine sports car, and you know the SW20, but this MR Spider maybe not so much. This is like a folding convertible version of the standard MR2. I don't really get why this exists, but it does. It was Japanese only as far as I'm aware, and very strange looking thing. The Japanese and styling convertibles wasn't really going particularly well at this time. You had this, and then a couple of years later the Silvia Variata, which looks more like a pickup truck. But anyways, here it is, mid-engined rear-wheel drive, 320 horsepower, 1,131 kilograms. It is going to get 6 laps of the Motorsports Land track in order to set the best time it possibly can. Our current leader is the Ford GT90, a 28.180. The MR Spider, unlikely to beat that. In fact, based entirely on what we've already seen around this course, the MR Spider isn't likely to go particularly quick. We have had an MR2 take on the course before. It was the MR2 G Limited, which is a lot like this vehicle, just with a proper roof on it. And that vehicle was very disappointing. 32.174, actually tied with the Daihatsu Terios Kid. So, not expecting big things out of this, I will be honest. Unlike the turbo MR2s, obviously you can see naturally aspirated, drives quite nicely. I think it drives better than the other MR2 we had. Usual mid-engined issues of not really enough traction as you try and get around the corners on the front end, so it does feel a little bit on the understeery side of things, but there we go. We'll see how it goes. At least it comes in this fabulous orange paintwork. I'm never going to turn down an orange car in this game because they all seem to be absolutely magnificent. It's like this, and then you get the Imola orange on the S2000s as well. I'm all for that. Real life, probably not so much. I wouldn't make my first choice an orange MR2, but still. Then the ropes. It is a little bit fake tan, if you will. 32.434. So we at least got a proper lap in. To be honest with you, I don't really remember the G Limited all that well. I think the G Limited was lighter than this, so realistically this should be slower than that, but we will see. So far, it seems like it's a pretty mediocre thing, I'll be honest. I don't know what gearbox is in this. 32.149. What is in this? It is a 5-speed. Okay. I was a bit worried it might be a 4-speed automatic MR2 for a second though. Or MR, I should say. Considering it's the MR Spider. It's very slightly quicker than the G Limited at the moment. Very, very slightly. But I mean, like, there's thousandths in it. So, yeah, I suppose it's about where these are going to be. It's a bit of a shame, really. But I mean, mid-engine cars around this course, with the exception of maybe the NSX, which turned out to be alright. They haven't been doing too hot. Oh, and the Vector as well, but the Vector's a different kettle of fish entirely. These sort of lower-powered mid-engine cars, stuff like this, the Lotus Elises, they just aren't all that impressive. They aren't very well set up for a course like this. You'd think they'd have like this sort of tight, nimble handling, and they just don't have that on their side, so it is what it is. Anyways, we are not going to go any quicker on this final lap by the looks of it. And to be fair, that lap I did before was pretty darn good. 32.149. Yeah, like I say, it is like marginally quicker than the MR2, but not by much. It's a shame because it's nice to drive. It's alright. It's just, it hasn't quite got the power, it hasn't quite got the turning grip that you maybe want. It looks a lot like an NSX in this colour. That's an interesting thing to note, but yeah. Yeah. Maybe it could go quicker, but I don't think, honestly, by much, I think that's pretty much the ceiling of where that car will operate. Anyways, a 32.149 will put it into 102nd place. As I mentioned, it is fractionally quicker than the previous MR2G Limited we had. It is slightly slower than the Mazda Unos Roadster, slightly slower than a Nissan Silvia, which sort of similar-ish vehicles. Yeah, they're just not that quick. I mean, once you get the turbo versions of these vehicles on the track, because they make upwards of 500 horsepower, then we'll see where we sit. But for now, they're just not well suited, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame, but that's where the cookie crumbles on this occasion. Anyways, thank you all very much for watching, and join me next time when I'll be driving something completely different. Until then, farewell.